Running is one of the most popular ways of exercise. In the US alone, almost 60 million people participated in running, jogging, and trail running in 2017. One of the best things about it is almost anyone can do it. The problem is, a majority of those people are doing it wrong, because we've somehow adapted this no pain, no gain mentality when it comes to exercise. Yes, exercise is good for you, so people just automatically assume that more is always better. The reality is you can definitely do too much of a good thing. The poison is in the dose. Because when people get into chronic patterns of doing cardio workouts that are a little bit too hard, a little bit too frequently with insufficient rest. For example, people mindlessly just go for a run Monday through Friday. Sometimes they don't even take days off. And if you're one of those well-meaning people, you're most likely doing more harm than good. The key is to track your heart rate. Specifically, you want to keep your heart rate in the fat burning zone the entire time when you go for a run. More likely than not, unless you're extremely fit or you're an elite runner, you're gonna have to slow things down. We're talking about turning your run into a brisk walk or at most a slow jog. A very slow jog. The run doesn't have to be a near-death experience for it to be effective. I'm giving you a way out. Especially if your goal is to lose fat, fit better in your clothes, have a flat stomach, and have more energy. You can accomplish all those things by turning your runs into brisk walks or an easy-paced jog. Here's why. Cardio workouts performed in the fat burning zone, and again, a brisk walk is almost guaranteed to keep you there, upregulates your fat burning metabolism because your body always adapts to whatever fuel source is always available. So if you teach it to burn fat when you work out, it's gonna become more efficient at burning fat even at rest. That's how you become an unstoppable fat burning machine. When you slow down your run at a more comfortable pace, you have plenty of oxygen to make body fat your main fuel source, because fat burns well in the presence of oxygen. That's what a proper aerobic workout is. Aerobic literally means with oxygen. Easy-paced jogs or brisk walks also help optimize hormonal function. It strengthens the immune system, it stabilizes appetite and mood, it stimulates BDNF, which is miracle grow for the brain, and so much more. As a byproduct, you actually feel refreshed and energized for the rest of the day if you do your cardio workout properly. If you feel like crap afterwards, you definitely overdid it. Now, what's the magic number to stay in this aerobic, aka fat burning zone? The upper limit is 180 minus your age and heartbeats per minute. So if you're 35 years old, like me, your maximum aerobic heart rate is 145 beats per minute. This is a proven calculation that's been around for decades, popularized by Dr. Phil Maffetone, a legendary endurance coach. And even the world's greatest endurance runner, Eliud Kipchoge, only trains at about 75 to 80% of his max capacity, which lands him in that maximum aerobic sweet spot. So your number one job moving forward is to stay below your personal maximum aerobic heart rate number, which by the way is different from your maximum heart rate. There is a world of difference between those two. During a proper aerobic session, you're burning mostly body fat for fuel, and the effort feels easy to moderate. So at your maximum aerobic heart rate, you're at peak fat oxidation. You're burning more fat per minute than any other heart rate. If you can imagine a reverse J-shaped curve, you're at that peak. Now, if you go past your maximum aerobic heart rate, and this is what happens in 99% of running groups and group fitness classes like CrossFit or spin, yes, you're gonna burn more calories. If you're on a treadmill, it's addicting looking at the calories burned. And now you automatically think that more might be better. The problem is, you start operating at a different metabolic state when you do that. Your fat oxidation rate will go down in favor of increased glucose burning. Why? Well, it's because glucose is like rocket fuel. It's a quick hit of fuel. And you're gonna start burning more of it because you're huffing and puffing. The effort level of your run is now hard, which is then gonna trigger more cortisol production. That's your fight or flight hormone, as well as more free radicals, which are cellular waste products. The result is more inflammation, and it can lead to longer recovery times and more risk of breakdown, burnout, and fatigue. Sound familiar? At the same time, there's also the compensation theory. Overly strenuous workouts are almost guaranteed to trigger strong cravings afterwards. Because as you burn more calories from your overly intense run, you also eat more calories, and usually not the good kind. That's why it's extremely important to stay below your maximum aerobic heart rate during your run. If you go too fast, even just for a little bit, it's hard for your body to go back down to that low stress, fat burning state. So you have to be aware of this and stay disciplined. Again, more isn't always better. Less is more in this scenario. This is why a brisk walk or a slow-paced jog is the best cardio for fat loss, because it's easy and you're guaranteed to stay below your maximum aerobic heart rate. And if you want to work with me and learn how to put this all together, you can book a free consultation to join the Fat Loss Accelerator VIP program by clicking the link in the description and comments below. Now, let's circle back to mainstream fitness. Unfortunately, the euphoric feeling that you get from always doing these medium to hard intensity runs, combined with the flawed mindset that you're not getting a good workout unless you're suffering, creates this exercise trap for a lot of people where they're always going way above their maximum aerobic heart rate. Again, this exercise black hole trap puts you in a different metabolic and hormonal state. The daily pattern of these hard runs that becomes too stressful, depleting, and immune suppressing ends up doing more harm than good. More importantly, that type of training has been shown conclusively to increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, mitochondrial damage, and accelerated aging. Imagine that. This is often referred to as the excessive endurance exercise hypothesis. One of the leading voices on this is Dr. James O'Keefe, who's a cardiologist. He's got an eye-opening TED Talk called Run for Your Life at a comfortable pace and not too far. According to him, a surprising amount of seasoned marathoners with six-pack abs and healthy blood profiles are showing increased scarring and thickening of their arterial walls caused by chronic exercise-driven inflammation. So just because you look good on the outside doesn't mean that everything is fine on the inside. Again, think of a reverse J-shaped curve. There's a point where it peaks, where you get maximum benefits, but then it starts to go down. The sweet spot is doing a couple of hours of cardio per week at an aerobic pace. Again, we're talking about a brisk walk or a slow jog to get those maximum benefits. Anything more than that and you start traveling the path into the danger zone where you're doing more harm than good. And as with a lot of things, what gets measured gets managed. If you have an extra couple of bucks, invest in a heart rate monitor to help you stay below your maximum aerobic heart rate. The highest accuracy comes from the ones that wrap around your chest. You can get a high quality unit for less than $50 on Amazon. You can also use an Apple Watch or other fitness trackers. The problem is they might not always be as accurate, or, and this is what I prefer, you can also just use the no tech strategy of the good old nose breathing test, which is what I personally do. You should be able to do your run with your mouth closed. And in order to do so, you have to slow it down to a brisk walk or a slow jog. Yes, slowing down might not be as fun as the high that you would get from a hard run, but rest assured you're making steady progress towards your fat loss goals, because now you're actually doing it properly. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And just remember Dr. James O'Keefe's principle: run for your life at a comfortable pace and not too far. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then you don't want to ignore this one. I'll see you there.